Hello everyone, welcome in to Citizen Sleeper 2. Yeah, 2 VODs this week. 2 BODs. Was Anatoly Cherdenko the name of Tim Curry's character in Command & Conquer? It's been so long since I've played Command & Conquer. A weird serendipity that you mentioned that vibes, because I'm actually reading the 3-body problem right now. Not right now, but it is the active book that I am reading. Just a fun coincidence. Yeah. So, welcome on in, everybody. Last time we got started, we were on the run from a horrifying Snake Man Yakuza. And we have ended up at a new station. Our ship has broken down. Enki Dusk. Oh, did you? Interesting. I've been enjoying it so far, but I can understand why somebody wouldn't. The language of the book is very wild in a lot of ways. But I'm only a few chapters into it at this point. I'm like 16 chapters or so into it, but I'm looking forward to reading some more of that. It's interesting at the very least. But welcome in. I think we're gonna pop back over to, where's the game? Oh, there we go. Here, yeah, so we're trying to repair our ship so that we can hopefully not get hunted down like the escaped slaves that we are. And currently we have taken on a job to try to get fuel lines to repair our ship by salvaging this wreck that we already did 2 damage to just by parking. So we're off to a good start. It seems as though our job, we have a limited clock on this job. And all right, let's just start looking around. So we also have the dice that we can use from our friends here who are on the job with us. Seraphin has mid rolls, Junie has a pretty okay roll. I don't remember the voices I was doing for Seraphin or Junie, so we're gonna rediscover them as we go. Okay. Lock dissection. It will take longer, but cutting away the lock layer by layer is the safest way to make it through. Or we could force the lock. Forget being delicate, the clock is running on the contract, and forcing the lock is the fastest way to gain entry. We want to get to the bridge. The airlock on the derelict is rusted shut. Opening it up is necessary to enter and investigate the wreck's bridge. Now, what I'm trying to decide is what the best use of these bad dice are. And we could also head back to the cargo hold, it looks like. Clear cargo doors. There are layers and layers of broken hull plates blocking the cargo doors. This will require some heavy work. Find an access point. There has to be a way in amongst the shattered hull. Searching will be slow, but at least the derelict will remain stable. Getting into cargo entry means breaking through the shattered remains of the aft hull. That seems dangerous and also not really why we're here. What does the galley do for us? We could make a meal. I don't know why. Go to the engine. That's what we need. I don't think this actually has anything to do with our salvage op right now. All right, well, I think our goal is to try to get into the bridge. So our first bet is... I'm the only engineer. Neither of them have any engineering capabilities. I could guarantee 2 positives. How bad are we running here? Okay. I'm gonna throw the 4 down first just to do a check. Temperature check. Okay, got 2 bridge entry for that. A section of the lock is expertly cut away, both safely and efficiently. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more. That's a lot of dice. Okay. I think we keep cutting away at it. Slowly, because I don't want to stress the ship. But once we've cut enough away, I think I'm going to take the gamble, hoping that Seraphin can force the door the rest of the way. One time, no whammies. Could be worse. The contract stress has triggered a crisis. A crisis will add 1 contract stress per cycle unless resolved at the crisis location. Okay. An emergency seal. The derelict's hull is falling apart. If this breach isn't sealed, and fast, the entire wreck will collapse. That's not great for us at all. Oh, and we don't have anyone who's good at this. Uh-oh. Maybe we rush it. What could go wrong? During a contract, you can use your push ability, once per cycle, to give you an edge in a tricky situation. Pushing accrues 1 stress, but will give you a key advantage based on your chosen class. You can see your current push configuration if you hold your mouse over the button, and on the character screen. Your push cannot be used at the hub, but when at a hub, it can be upgraded and configured in the character screen. You just gained some stress. As your stress increases, you will have a higher chance of taking damage to your action dice every time you roll them. Alright. We're gonna try pushing. If we get a positive outcome, it refunds the stress we just did. Come on. Positive outcome. Beautiful. The lock is open. Time to move in. The bridge of the derelict lies silent. The pale beams of your suit lamp catch rows of terminals and clouds of glittering dust. Wires wave like seaweed, and the whole scene appears as if underwater. Chaotic, but still. Junie glides past you, disturbing the dust and taking you by surprise as she does. She has been a stoic presence so far, but in this moment she seems drawn forward by some force of curiosity. You watch as she bats away debris and begins checking terminals. Let her work. What are you doing? Junie doesn't seem to hear you, or at least is ignoring you. She is already prying an access panel off one of the more intact-looking terminals. As she does, puffs of rust color the vacuum around her red. Approach her. She turns back to the terminal and finishes prying off the plate. Then quickly she reaches inside, fishing around for something. Her hand comes back out with a waving cable topped with a thick connector. As soon as she sees it, she slips a keyboard-sized deck out from somewhere on her person. She runs her hand across the back until she finds the right port and slots in the connector. All of this happens in a few seconds, the routine practiced and precise. It is hard not to be impressed. Nicely done. We'll see, she says, so quietly it seems mostly to herself. Junie's fingers dance across the deck's keyboard and a burst of static lights up the Solheim's terminal screen. The sudden burst of light and color take you by surprise. Junie's fingers tap away, the terminal screen flashing with blocks of colors and lines of code. It buzzes and vibrates, its long-dead systems forced back into chaotic life. Then, all at once, it goes dark. The terminal is dead. Shit! Junie hisses beneath her breath. Useless! You cannot tell if the insult is directed at the terminal or herself. Did you find anything? She looks up at you as if she was just waking from a dream. No. She pauses. Nothing useful. She protectively slides her deck away. The cradle with the data core can't be far. She pushes off from the terminal, gliding away from you. I'll start looking, she calls back and heads to the other side of the bridge. Seraphin glides up beside you. Everything all right? What do you think of Junie? The kid? Seraphin shrugs. You know better than me. Keeps to herself. He squints at her retreating form. Seraphin stretches in his suit. I have to admit, it's nice to be back working, especially now that we are the ones who will reap the benefits. He claps you on the shoulder. Feels good to be taking our fate into our own hands. I know it's pretty rough there. Back on Hexport, and out here we're just as likely to get shredded by debris as find the damn data core, but aren't you glad we made a break for it? He pauses and looks down, having asked the question almost by accident. I mean, I am. I just don't want to speak for you. We'll see. That's true. He looks away. This thing is gonna catch up with us one day. Look. Seraphin checks his suit's wrist seals. Once we've got a bit of space behind us, once we've gone the distance, if we even manage to get that far, he furrows his brow. Don't feel you owe me. I'm no charity case. You want us to go our separate ways? Fine by me. He meets your eyes. Just do me the favor of telling me to my face. I will. Seraphin nods but doesn't respond. After a moment, he shines his torch out into the dark, checking the rows of terminals all across the bridge. You watch the glittering dust as it eddies in the beam. Seraphin sighs. Let's get to it. You watch as he crosses the bridge, his torch probing the dark corners. You feel a chill run through your body as you imagine the people that once ran this ship, the Solheim crew, surely long dead. What was it like here before the collapse, when the system was the jewel in Solheim's crown? It's impossible to know. That history is lost to you now. All you can do is pick what you can from the ruins. Okay, we still got 3 dice with these guys. Reboot the system. Rather than hunting old pathways, rebooting selected sections of the ship's system might reveal the data core's location as it responds. Or track the pathways. One way to find the ship's data core is to systematically track the old pathways through the derelict in the hope of finding one that connects to it. The bridge and data core must be connected, but in a wreck as big as this, tracing that connection is a challenge. I think let's throw Junie's skills on the reboot system, because she gets a bonus to those. The atrophied systems barely respond, but a few faint pulses suggest possible starting points for the search. Oops, didn't mean to leave. A strong pulse comes through from deep inside the derelict. That must be the core, but its location is vague and needs triangulating. You see that, Sleeper? Okay, and now we have Seraphin's 2. Do we want to throw him at the breach? Oh, I didn't see what he said there. Okay. Is there a log? No. Well, keep a closer eye on that. I guess I'll throw this dice at this. Let's see what it looks like. Did you doubt me? It's a slow process, but the repairs are working for now. But now I think we're out of dice, which means we have to end this cycle. Ooh, Junie, killer rolls. That's great to see. Seraphin's even got some good rolls. Okay, this is a good dice setup for today. I'm wondering if our best bet is just to race the core retrieval. Hope that we can just smash and grab it before this whole fucking thing falls apart. I feel like going carefully, we might be going too slow, and then we get nothing. Good, you subtract 2 from these. That's rough. Okay. Good call, Sleeper. I think we throw Seraphim 6 at this, though. Guaranteed positive. Nice work, Sleeper. A nexus of old data pathways is unearthed deep in the derelict, and it seems to be a relay node for the core. Getting close. Alright.
I'll give it a shot, Sleeper.
Gonna throw her 6s at this. Well, okay, then. Okay. We're getting 2 from that. Yeah, I'll throw us 4 at track the pathways. Let's try that. Nice. Okay. Nice work, Sleeper. We need 1 more. Do I throw one of my 2s here? Do I push one of the 2s and hope that I get a positive to refund it, or do I save the push for something that might come afterwards? There's more gaming in this one. Oh, man. I'm shipping it. That was a mistake. That was a big mistake. Shit. Okay, push it. Play it. Okay. That's about as worse, the worst it could go. Oh no. Okay, I just gotta throw this 5 down. We need to do this. Finally, the location of the data core is identified. Now extracting it is all that remains. Oh, this is heartbreaking. Okay. We have a whole nother day. We're gonna add 2, maybe 3 to that. I have a negative to doing this, right? Yeah. Nothing I can do there. I gotta erase it. As clean as a cut could be hoped for, the connections come away. This might work. The core is fragile, but by rerouting the data connections to it from its cradle, it could easily be lifted free without damage, at least in theory. The core sits in a complex cradle made out of many connections. Getting it out intact is a delicate art. The core is barely intact. Any mistake, no matter how small, could render it inoperable, making the contract null and void. Come on. I'll take a neutral outcome well enough. Okay, we're just gonna need a couple 6s tomorrow, and I think we're okay. Ugh, yeah. Okay, we've got good dice today. Let's see if I can just cut the core out. 2. I think I'll just be able to retrieve it here. Perfect. It's over. The work is done. You watch nervously as Junie... Oop. I got an achievement. You watch nervously as Junie glides the core out of the cradle. A large ball, almost half your height in diameter. It glides up out of the framework that held it, connections waving loose and cut. Her breathing comes through the suit's comms, loud enough to be picked up, and it fills you with a tense energy as you watch. Over the course of this job, you have seen Junie both focused and distracted, nervous and precise, but you have not seen her any more confident than in this moment now. She floats beside the data core, handling it with care and skill, as if it were the vast egg of some endangered bird. She glances up and sees you watching her, and you notice something unfamiliar in her eyes. Something that you have perhaps seen in a passing moment before, only now it is no momentary lapse or change. It is set in place. You see determination. She guides the core a little away from you with one hand, and at the same time comes forward, almost placing herself between you and her prize. And it does seem to be hers in the way she handles it, the possessive way which she screens it with her body. "We need to talk." The statement comes flat and deadpan, any nervous tremble gone. "Right now." "What are you doing?" "Sleeper." She takes a deep breath. "I want to be honest with you, but I need to know you won't take this from me." Junie glances around the cradle defensively, but Seraphin is already heading back to the ship to prepare the cargo bay for the core's storage. You two are alone. "Tell me and we'll see." "Fine." She folds both her arms. "But it's staying with me. Karsten doesn't deserve this treasure, Sleeper." Junie glances over her shoulder at the core. "Do you know how many of these are left intact?" She shakes her head. "And all he wants to do is wipe it clean so that he can use it to interface with Hexport. All that data, gone." "The contract is the contract." "Really?" Junie sighs. "That's the best you can offer?" "I want to extract the data, to make use of it." You see some genuine emotion flicker in her eyes. "I could have taken the data already, Sleeper, stripped it out and told you I was running diagnostics." She looks away. "I'm listening." She sighs. "After extracting the data, the core will be unusable. There's a security system that will fry it if data duplication is attempted. I can delay the security response long enough to copy the data, but after that..." "You've done this before." She looks down. "Yes." She meets your eye. "This is why I came. Look at this place, Sleeper." She gestures to the cradle room, a dark and twisted cavern of long-dead tech. "How many of these places are left? How many chances do we have to recover anything this old, this fragile? Like it or not, we live in Solheim's shadow, in their ruins, and yet we know almost nothing. What chance do we have of understanding how we got here, when others like them, like Senatstadt and Conway, are descending on the system?" "What can we learn from the core?" "I don't know, Sleeper. That is the point." She gestures around herself. "We could learn our history and how this system was settled. We could better learn the technology we build our lives on. We could uncover Solheim's crimes and seek to make amends." She looks at you with pleading eyes. "We could see beyond survival, towards something else." You have never heard Junie speak like this, and you realize what you have taken for nervousness was actually control. This, the person in front of you defending a decaying data core with their life, is the real Junie. But then you think of Lane, of the price he likely put on your and Seraphin's heads, and of the feed lines, without which leaving Hexport will be almost impossible. Is this even a choice? Explain about the feed lines. Junie listens carefully as you tell her about the deal with Karsten, the feed lines he offered you, and that both you and Seraphin are on the run. "Then I'll help you." Junie doesn't flinch. "We find another way to get those feed lines. Karsten is an idiot. I can hack his security and you can pull them out of there, or Seraphin looks tough, maybe he can grab them." She looks desperate. "We can do it. We can do something." "Don't you work for him?" Junie glances away. "Look, I knew you wouldn't take me if..." She sighs. "I might have misled you there. I knew he knew where the derelict was, and I heard your conversation. I've been keeping an eye on him." She pauses. "I know I lied, but I can help you. Let me strip the data from the core, and I promise to help you get the feed lines." She meets your eyes with intensity. It's a lot of information to take in at once. You need a second to think. What do y'all think? I'm inclined to give her the data. But I don't know. I'm interested. I want to see where this goes. I want to know what she's doing. And her sudden weird change is entertaining to me. But I don't know if we're gonna get fucked by that in the long run. I think we do it. What's on this data core? Let's do it. Thank you. Junie looks genuinely moved. This is a gift to all of us, Sleeper. I hope you will see it like that. Junie turns to the data core, quickly gathering one of its loose connections. She takes out her deck and plugs it in, then crosses her legs and places it across them, floating tethered beside the core. Her fingers begin tapping at the keyboard, teasing out the core's data and whatever Solheim secrets it might contain. As she does, Seraphin enters. He braces himself in the entryway. What's she doing? Junie doesn't seem to notice. I'll explain later. He eyes you suspiciously. I hope you know what you're doing, Sleeper. He nods towards the core. That's our ticket out of Hexport. Junie will help us. If you say so. You both turn to watch Junie stripping the core of its secrets. A little while later, once the core has been emptied out and its defense mechanism has scorched its seams black, you watch the metallic sphere spinning gently in the room, and wonder if you have just made a terrible mistake. Contract failed, technically. The contract is concluded. You can leave via the map. You can now travel back to the hub. Once you leave, you will not be able to return. And we lose 5 stress during the travel. That's great. I think we only had 4. As you arrive back in Hexport, Junie speaks back up As you arrive into Hexport, Junie speaks up from the back of the cockpit. We are going to have to act fast if we want to take those feed lines. You and Seraphin exchange glances. You are both still getting used to this new Junie. We? Seraphin raises an eyebrow. Only one of us fried the core and stole all its data. He shoots you a look, and for some reason, we let you. We can make this work. What I'm wondering, Sleeper, is why we have to. Seraphin looks infuriated. I don't think Karsten is going to take kindly to the idea that we brought someone pretending to work for him on the job and let her have his prize. He scoffs. He even points at Junie like she's an object. Do you even know what she's up to? Junie looks between the two of you. Hexport hasn't exactly been kind to me. You two trusted me, even though I didn't deserve it. I'm not used to that. I want to repay it. Not to mention that Karsten is probably ripping you off. Even if you get enough cryo, what's to say he won't raise the price? Trust me, he's no good. I was trying to deal with Karsten to get those derelict coordinates from the moment I arrived here, and he ran me in circles. She shakes her head. Seraphin is watching her closely. Even if I do take you at your word, which given everything seems a little tough, how do we even do this? He raises an eyebrow. You're telling me we just drift in there and take the feed lines? Look, I get it. You don't trust me. She pauses. But what if I have a vested interest in this working out? There's nothing left for me here. And I don't much feel like hanging around waiting for Karsten to figure out my involvement in all this. I need safe passage. You need the feed lines to grant it. She allows herself a smile. See where I'm going with this? Seraphin sighs. I don't like it. He pauses, but it makes sense. What do you think, Sleeper? We all get something. Exactly. Junie smiles. Let me prepare. I'll head to the factory row, scope the place out. Meet me there and we can work out a plan. She glances between the two of you. Trust me. We can find a way. We'll keep it simple. Clean. Let's get to it. Okay then. Junie smiles. Trust me. This is going to work. I'll go scope out the bay we need in Factory Row. We should split up. Less likely for Karsten to suspect us. Meet me there in a few and we can finish setting up. Junie unclips from her seat, floating. I want to show you I can be trusted. That we can do this. She looks between the two of you. Believe that, please. And with that, she slips away down the passage towards the airlock and hexport beyond. You look at Seraphin. I'm saying nothing, sleeper. He unclips from his seat, too. Either this is the kind of mess you have to go through to get to the other side, or it's the kind that you never escape. Either way, we are in it now. He leaves the cockpit. You stare at the chaotic lights of hexport and wonder if anything in the Starward Belt ever runs smoothly. Ooh boy. Oh, that clock progressed a lot more. Oh, right, because it was days on the derelict. Oh, oh dear. That's not great. Okay, let's go to... Okay. Dude, man. This is a real bummer. Junie needs to create a backdoor into Karsten's security system so she can deactivate them when the time is right. Leaving Junie to the hacking and covertly observing Karsten will be the quickest and riskiest way to scope out security. To steal the feed lines, you'll need to get into Karsten's security system and plan out an angle of attack. Okay. I mean, I think it's the only thing we can do right now, really. So let's throw our 3s at it right now. You make it through a single layer of security only to find another. Karsten is more paranoid than you thought. Same. Throw the 4 on top of it. One step at a time, I guess. Oh, right, I can't push while I'm on the station. Spent all 5 dice on neutral outcomes. Okay. Oh boy. Yep. Oh, those dice are awful. Oh no. Come on. Please. We did it. You have enough info to take a shot at this. Time to go through the plan. The sound of fist on keyboard wakes you from the scrolling code on the terminal screen. You turn to see Junie, a rare half smile on her face as she floats cross-legged with her deck in her lap. The blue light of the snap-on screen makes her eyes glint with a glittering excitement. Got him. She shoots you a look. Karsten's whole system is mine. You push away from your terminal to glide over to her screen. Running the mapping protocol now. I want to know about every little dusty corner of his network. Is there much to map? She squints at the screen. Weirdly, there is. It's coming up now. Seems Karsten is pretty paranoid. This whole system is iced over with some serious security. She frowns. What are all these layers of A red pulse flashes across her face, changing her features as it does. Shit, shit, shit. Her fingers dance across the keyboard. Something is closing at the port. We need... Another red flash and her screen goes blank. Junie's fist hits the keyboard again, harder. We've been kicked out. She is rapidly shaking her head. There's no way a salvager shop should have that kind of countermeasure. She looks troubled. That's it? We're locked out? She looks over at you. It seems so. I think our friend Karsten is involved in some nasty stuff. She rubs her forehead in thought. Wait. Her fingers fly across the keyboard, her screen flickering with commands. A complex node graph assembles itself on the screen, a mess of interlocking connections. The mapping protocol did enough. She points at the screen. All the security systems are there. She indicates a dark section of broken connections. We didn't get what's here, but it seems like we found some kind of archive. Nothing we want. I wonder what's there. Junie shrugs. Some big data trolls, it looks like. Copies of old drives he found. Could just be a load of data left over from salvage jobs that he thinks is worth something. She smiles. He's a meathead with no eye for data, so it probably is a load of debug logs he thinks are Solheim secrets. She giggles at the idea. Junie pulls a thumbnail drive out from one of her decks and slots it into out from one of her many pockets and slots it into her deck. Time to train my cat. Nope. You lean in closer to try to follow the spooling code as it spills across the screen, but you find yourself lost in its patterns. Junie puts a hand on your shoulder and pushes you back from the screen, giving you a skeptical look. Give me some space here. It's a Katzenjammer, CAT for short. Basically, it takes a network map, finds the weaknesses, and when you hook it up, blasts the network with so much network noise and raw data that it becomes unusable. She smiles to herself. Any tech connected gets a killer headache. I built it to take the remnants of Solheim security systems out of commission on old derelicts. She squints. I had one too many close calls. What will it do to Karsten's shop? Pretty much fry anything on our map. Cameras, shutter controls, alarms. It'll be pure chaos. She plucks the thumbnail drive out of her deck and hands it over, the cat head sticker on it catching the light as you turn it in your fingers. We've still lost access, of course. Junie turns back to her screen, bringing up another node map. But there's an old Solheim port from the original facility just outside Karsten's. Slot the cat in there, and it should be able to find a back door. DDoS a person. Yeah, we're just gonna DDoS Karsten's entire store. How can you be sure? I spotted it on the map. She brings it up in another window. Karsten's hooked up to the old fixed networks. It's a classic weakness. This isn't going to be quiet. She squints. His whole system is going to get data blasted. It's not a subtle hack. When you slot the cat, you get in, grab the feed lines, and run. Sounds like one hell of a risk. Seraphin's voice catches you both by surprise as he slips into the dark and empty unit. Well, Junie pauses, looking between the two of you. It's our best option. Seraphin narrows his eyes. And where will you be while we run the gauntlet of scrambled security and make the grab? Junie looks away. I can monitor how it goes down remotely, from here or the ship. Seraphin gives you a look. You can tell he is finding it hard to trust Junie after everything. I'm gonna give her the chance. I trust you, Junie. She smiles a thin smile. Thanks. She starts to pack up her deck, but I'll find somewhere else to work. Close to the ship, but out of your way. Junie shoulders her bag and glides to the door. When you are ready, slot the cat and go. By the time you are back at the ship, I'll be there. She glances down. Don't leave without me. She shoots Seraphin another look and then slips out of the unit. Seraphin watches her go and then turns to you. The whole of Hexport is going to hear about this. He shakes his head. We better be ready to go the moment you slot that thing. I'll be ready. Seraphin nods silently. I'll be at the ship preparing the engine. We need to be ready to fit the lines as fast as we possibly can. He meets your eye. Be careful. Don't stop for anyone or anything. He puts a hand on your shoulder. And don't even think about looking back. With that, he slips out of the unit, leaving you alone to consider what comes next. Junie's cat will overwhelm Karsten's security, but you don't know how long for. You better be ready to grab the feed lines and run the moment you slot it. I'm curious if this is going to be a story event, or if I'm going to need my pile of 3s. We're in a bit of a rush. I think I slot it and go. We gotta go. DDoS Karsten and get the hell out. You slide the worm into the corroded Solheim port. A noise from Karsten's shop immediately catches your attention. Karsten's place is locked up for the cycle, shutter down, alarms on, the denizens of Factory Row snaking past with deliveries and work orders. You hold your position opposite the shop and take a deep breath, waiting for a sign that this is going to work. You look at the thumbnail drive with its shimmering cat sticker, sticking out of the old Solheim access port. You imagine the flow of data as the Katzenjammer seeks for an entry point into Karsten's systems. You think of Junie, tucked away near the ship, watching you through the public networks. You think of Seraphin deep in the engine room of the rig. Hurry the hell up, you think. Enough waiting. Then you hear it. A pulsating white noise, spluttering, and then screaming out of Karsten's shop. The shutter scissors up and down, the lights pulse, the alarm gurgles in confusion. For a moment, you are stunned into stillness. People stop in the street and then turn to look as the shutter's motors burn out in a cascade of sparks and acrid smoke. Approach carefully. Neutral outcome. You skirt around the people watching, using them as a perimeter. They are pointing and talking, some of them laughing while others look concerned. You confidently push past them and glide inside without looking back. It takes you a moment to gather yourself in the chaos of the shop. The wall-mounted screens scream out white noise, and then flickering lights make it hard to concentrate. But you keep your focus. You scramble over to the feed lines in the window, grabbing the bundle with both arms. They wave wildly in your grasp as you wrench them away and kick off from the counter, gliding back out into the passage. Your arcing glide takes you into the crowd. You steer yourself through a gap in the gathering bodies and kick off hard towards the port. The feed lines wave wildly, but you grip them hard to your chest and don't look back. Seraphin better be ready. Your arms ache from clutching the feed lines, but you don't loosen your grip until you see the entrance to the docking bridge. Sleeper! You almost ignore the call until you realize you recognize the voice. Junie glides out to meet you, her hand on your shoulder, guiding you toward the bridge. I'm with you now. She shoots you a glance. What a show, huh? She laughs nervously. It was certainly loud. She smiles a little. Wish I could have seen the cat in action. You both glide down the docking bridge, Junie helping you with the trailing feed lines. From what you can tell, news of the chaos in Factory Row has not reached the port yet. You feel a flush of excitement as you enter the ship's airlock. This is it. You did it. You try to keep focused, but the elation makes your hands tremble. You take a sharp turn in the central passage of the ship and make your way to the engine room, the feed lines now unwieldy in the cramped space. Seraphin is waiting for you, shaking his head. Looks like we're in business. He lets out a sigh, and on the run from 2 different people now. He grabs the feed lines. I'll take it from here. He quickly begins the process of connecting the engine to the subsidiary fuel tank. You watch, catching your breath as he works. How about you make yourself useful rather than just making me nervous? Seraphin says without looking up from his work. Go close the airlock and disconnect the bridge. You and Junie glance at each other. Both of you, now! Seraphin calls out. The 2 of you turn and make your way up the passage, your nerves settling now. You arrive at the airlock and reach for the control panel. Then you see him. Karsten. Coming up the docks. Fast. Coming up the docking bridge. Fast. Close the airlock. Fuck. Negative outcome. You hesitate, the control panel just out of reach. He slams into you with some force, sending you spinning into the metal wall behind you. You jerk in pain as you hit it and lose your sense of direction. Karsten's heavy hands grab your neck and wrench you towards his face. Sneaky little shit! You think I didn't know who it was when I saw what was taken? His breath is hot on your face. I thought you sleepers were supposed to be smart. Before you can respond, he jerks back in pain, a thread of blood spiraling from his forehead. Junie swings again, the pipe catching him in the chest, sending him spinning towards the door. You watch stunned as she inputs the closure sequence with trembling hands, and the door hiss closed, obscuring Karsten's floating body from view. She drifts. She is breathing hard and doesn't look up. The pipe drifts from her hands, spinning gently in the air. Thank you. Junie looks back at you and opens her mouth as if to speak, her eyes wild. Seraphin rushes past, gliding up the passageway from the engine room. Come on, get yourself strapped in! You and Junie silently follow him, your head spinning, your thoughts racing. You slip into your seat as Seraphin punches the departure sequence. The rig begins to pull away from Hexport, Seraphin's hands on the controls. You close your eyes and feel the force of the thrusters firing. It worked, I guess. You just completed a drive and earned an upgrade point. You have push upgrades available. Go to the character screen to the right of the UI to see them. That went so bad at the end there. We really beefed it on the finish line. Though we did get to see Junie nearly kill someone with a pipe, which rules. What the? Seraphin's quiet question interrupts your thoughts as the rig cuts across the belt. Hexport is now behind you, drifting out from the visual range, its glinting lights now just part of the background glow of the belt's thousands of reflective bodies. Whatever trouble you stirred up there, it has surely been left behind. Mechanic definitely seemed like when we were choosing, the class to have far and away the most widely applicable push. Which is why Seraphin's muttering is worrying you. What's up? Seraphin turns. There's a transmission coming out of Hexport. Some kind of evac order? He turns back to his console. Let me check this. Sleeper. I don't know who this is. Sleeper. The voice, as distorted as it is, cuts through. Oh, this fucker. I know you are there. A hissing pause. Is that coming from Hexport? Seraphin glances at you, confused. Is what coming from Hexport? Give me a second, Sleeper. I'm getting a wide channel broadcast. He rubs his shoulder nervously. They're warning people to alter their course away from the station. You are slipping away. A squawk of noise. But we can't have that. I take this personally, Sleeper. A sharp intake of breath. After all, my investment, all my care expended upon you, this is how you repay me? At least we're heading away, Seraphin interrupts. Maybe it's just a precaution. I see a little something glinting out there. Lane continues. Could that be you? Sleeper? You hear Seraphin calling you, but you don't move. You don't breathe. All you hear is Lane's voice. You unclip from your restraint, drifting forward towards Seraphin. He gives you a wild look. Something isn't right. You don't feel right. A numbness grows in your body, your fingers flexing without your input. You reach out towards Seraphin. No, not you. Something reaches out to Seraphin through you. Attention flickers in his eyes. Fear? A hissing silence, then a rumbling blast. All at once, the rig screams, systems seizing in electromagnetic paralysis. All at once, the rig shifts, carried on some shockwave of light. Pain, then darkness. Fuck. That's bad. What the hell is this? What the hell does this mean? Did I roll a 7? Why is it flickering? That's threatening. Voices echo warmly through your mind. You can't quite make out what is being said, and any attempt to focus causes a growing flare of pain, so you let them fill the air, unidentifiable and soft. You are floating, and so you cannot yet feel your body or its weight. The feeling is pleasant, soothing, and yet the moment you realize this, it begins to fade. Something spasms in your fingers and you flick it away. A sensation crosses the sole of your foot as you kick your leg. A weight settles itself in your chest. You are awake. You open your eyes to light playing across a surface patterned with stationed cushioning. Lane is much slimier than Ethan was in a way that's very fun as a villain. He's so skeezy. Ethan was just a boisterous dipshit with a gun. You are awake. You open your eyes to light playing across a surface patterned with stained cushioning. I read that already. You are alone. The voices replaced by the hum of air cycling, the distant clank of maintenance systems. You are alone, and this is not your ship. You jerk upwards against the straps that hold you loosely to the berth, suddenly confronted with the last thing you remember, an overwhelming numbness, and below it, an insipid, animating force creeping through your mind. You pull at the straps and free yourself, floating up into the small habitation room, cushioned and worn, your mind racing. What happened? You search back and remember only Seraphin's shouts, the sudden acceleration of the rig, and then darkness. Chill runs through you. Cold light fills the room, and you float over to the dark square of the window. You see stars, the bright pinpricks of dive trails and skeletal docking bridges. This is a station. A sudden hiss draws your attention to the door, which slides open with a puff of equalizing pressure. The entering figure jumps as they see you are awake. Oh shit, Bliss! Bliss was the chick with the shaved head from the salvage yard in 1. I guess she grew her hair back out. You're up? They hesitate in the doorway. Who are you? They laugh nervously. Right, we didn't meet. They glance back out of the doorway as if looking for help. I'm Bliss. They shrug, not sure of what to add. Your crew are out. Sorry, they brought you here. Can you prove it? They look confused. Not really. They laugh. This is my room. They glance around. Not much, I know, but we are in my repair bay on the far spindle, if you know where that is. In the belt? Yeah. They smile sympathetically. In the belt. They look around at the room again. Come on, let's go somewhere a little more comfortable. They hold out a hand. You're safe. Don't worry. You follow them out into the corridor, gliding behind them. They move with the ease of someone who was either born in zero-G or has spent most of their life inside it. They guide you to an enclosed balcony where heavily scratched, thick acrylic windows look out onto a chaotic wet dock. At the center of the dock is the rig. Scratched and worn, but still your ship. It is a reassuring sight. So, what happened? Your ship? Bliss pauses. You were lucky I heard your distress signals. You sense they're holding something back. I guess that expensive long-range array I was tricked into buying finally paid off. They laughed to themselves. Well, at least for someone. You were out cold when I got there, and have been for the cycles since. Your friend wasn't in great shape either, but he bounced back fast. I make a habit of doing that. Seraphin's voice makes you spin around. Good to see you up. He can't suppress his smile. Are you okay? He smiles. Don't start fussing over me, sleeper. I'm good. Your eyes fall to Seraphin's bandaged abdomen. He notices and pulls his jacket over the wound. Certainly it looks better than when you came in. You should have seen... Bliss abruptly stops after Seraphin glares in their direction. Here. Seraphin pulls a few chits out of his pockets. Catch. He slings them over to Bliss. That's all I could get for now. Working? In your condition? Seraphin sighs. Please, I'm fine. Bliss looks at you apologetically. I know what it looks like, but I'm sorry. I can't work for free. Keeping this place going is bad enough. I get it. Seraphin nods. We're just thankful you towed us in. We aren't freeloaders. Bliss looks between the two of you. I'll let you two catch up. They turn to you. I'm glad you're awake. We were worried. They pat you on the shoulder and glide back down the corridor. With Bliss gone, silence descends on you and Seraphin, both of you unsure what to say. Where's Junie? She's probably on the ship, working on that deck of hers. Seraphin looks out at the ship. She's been useful. Not sure we would have got that distress signal out without her. What do you remember? He looks at you with concern. A transmission. Seraphin looks out at the rig. He takes a breath, steeling himself for what he has to say. Hexport is... He clears his throat. It's gone. He flinches. What do you mean, gone? It's... gone. Gone. Seraphin catches your eye. Dropped off the map. No signals, apart from one sent from fleeing ships. He frowns. I don't know what happened. No one does. Your mind skips, unable to focus on the information you have just been told. You think of the constant activity on the bends, the rumble of Factory Row, Karsten. Gone. By the time Bliss reached us, we had drifted out of range. They couldn't have seen it go up, but I saw, sleeper. Something exploded. White hot. He rubs his arms, suppressing a shiver. A moment later, the shockwave was on us. I wonder if that's what Karsten had in his black box. I wonder if that's what Junie couldn't get to, if he was building like a fucking bomb. And the Katzen jammer like set it off. That's my current theory. Or Lane blew it up with like a fucking railgun or some shit. The rig was crippled. Engine kept firing, but the guidance went offline, sending us arcing out across the belt. He drops a hand inside his jacket, pressing against the bandage on his side. I managed to get her under control, but not before we started spinning. My restraints came loose, and you weren't even strapped in, so we both got scrambled. He smiles a weak smile. Felt like being trapped in an auto wash. He turns back to you. I'm impressed you made it, to be honest. A flesh and blood human would have been smashed to pieces. He goes silent, the image a little too raw for him to continue. Could it be to do with us? Seraphin shrugs. Your guess is as good as mine. He squints. Would Lane do something like that? It doesn't make any sense. Utsubo is a gang. They run Darkside. They don't go around blowing up stations. All anyone is seeing is debris and radiation. I picked up a lot of ship transponders before the rig went offline. Maybe some people got out. He stops, unable to add anything more. You both float in silence for a moment. So we lost our tail? Seems like it. He looks away. At least that shockwave would have burned our trail out of the belt for now. We already owe Bliss for the work they did on the rig, and it isn't finished yet. A few more cycles, I've been told. Bliss won't hold us hostage, but I don't like to skip out without paying, even if we could get the rig started up. He rubs his necklace between his fingers. Bad karma. Beyond that, we need work. Fuel, supplies. And we need to make sure you're okay. He counts off the issues on his fingers. After that, he shrugs. I haven't heard of anyone coming after us, and if they did, they'd have to come through Hexport. Or what's left of it. He looks away. The far spindle is way out of Lane's territory anyway. They call this bit of the belt the Wash, and the stations here run differently to Darkside. So for now, we have some freedom. Seraphin sighs. Freedom to go broke, starve, and get into even more trouble, that is. In all honesty, I was hoping you might have some ideas. He pats you on the shoulder. Yeah, I'm sure the sleeper's fine. I'm sure Lane's psychically projecting into my brain in a way that Seraphin obviously couldn't hear is totally okay. Don't pay attention to my fucked up glitching dice. Don't pay attention to my sleazy snake brain ghost. Everything's fine. Let's look for a contract. You won't hear any complaints from me. He smiles. We won't be able to fly out for a few cycles yet, but it won't hurt us to have something lined up. He pauses and looks away. Seraphin pauses and stares down. Look, sleeper. He rubs his side. I'm not sure I can work right now. I just got kicked out of a salvage yard for passing out on the job. He looks away. Even with the pain meds I've been able to scare up. I can fly, that's for sure. He stares obstinately at the rig. But you're going to need some crew if you want to do any serious work. He chews his lip. I'm sorry. Don't be. Seraphin nods. Thanks, sleeper. He turns away. I'm gonna go take a rest on the rig. I'm wiped. You look out at the rig as he leaves, the warmth and softness of your waking moments now feeling like a distant memory. Is this what you wanted? Freedom? A chance to work for yourself? Not Lane? Well, here it is. With all the problems and complications you could imagine. And at what cost? Could Lane have wiped out Hexport just to try to end you? You shiver at the thought. But if not Lane, then who? Theories cloud your mind. Dwell on them. Dwell on them. Could it have been Conway? A drone or a mine drifting starward? Senate-stat, perhaps, or with some plan to weaken the belt, or a belt faction attempting to flip the board by intent or mistake? The belt had considered itself safe from the war brewing in the inner system, but now? Hexport's loss will be felt all across the starward belt. But what does that mean to you? Your needs are much more immediate, apparent. Those must come first. You take a breath. Time to make a plan. Tutorial! You've gained some glitch. Glitch is a penalty you gain from repairing dice, and from Lane's attempts to hack your system. Your current level of glitch is represented by the glitch clock on the far right of your dice. You can have a maximum of 6. Each level of glitch you will gain increases your chance of rolling a glitched dice at the start of the cycle. Each time you roll a glitched dice, you clear 1 level of glitch. A glitched dice has an 80% chance of a negative outcome when used, and a 20% chance of a positive outcome. So it's mostly famine, maybe feast. Got it. Okay. But belt being saved from the inners, what is this? The Expanse? Or the clock? OPA for life. Anyway, as I was saying, I'm gonna run a brief ad break in order to keep pre-roll ads off on this. We need to run a 3-minute ad break once every stream. So I'm gonna do that now, take a break, use the bathroom, get a drink, do whatever you need to do, and we will resume in about 3 minutes. Other than that, we'll just hang around and chat. I'm really looking forward to that Expanse game, Myth. The Owlcat one. I think it's gonna be super cool. I really hope that if you use a gun on a ship, you just have a chance to vent the entire fucking thing. You know what? I'm going to take this ad break to use the opportunity to use the restroom. So bear with me. We will be back in a moment. Oop, I'm muted. Okay. Exodus. I don't remember Exodus. Oh, yeah, this one. Yeah, this looks super interesting. I'm terrified that, or not terrified. I have a very strong suspicion that my computer's not going to be juiced enough to run that one. It looks a little much, and my computer's getting on there in years. All right, welcome back. Ads are done, and we are here to resume Citizen Sleeper with our glitched ass dice, our fucked up body, and our weird friends. Yeah, it does seem much more weird sci-fi for sure, as opposed to Expanse's much more hard sci-fi. It'll be a fun palette thing. I also really want to give the No Man's Sky update something. It looks like they ripped the shipbuilding thing just like straight out of Starfield, and that was like the only good part of Starfield. So, awesome. I really want to build one of those Corvettes. They look so cool. Anyway, but back to this space game. You find Junie in the airlock, her small collection of things crammed into her bag. I was coming to see you, I promise. She looks nervous. I was waiting for you to wake up, but Seraphin said you were okay, so... You're going? She looks away. I am. Well, you were... out. She pauses, the concern for you obvious. I was digging into the data that I pulled from that core, the Solheim one. There's a lot of stuff in there. A die that's worse than a 1. God, it's so good. I do like that there is a 1 in 5 chance of it being good, though. And totally fine. Spend it. I need to find safe things to spend those on. I guess I'm not obligated to spend dice, but I'm always gonna take the shot. Yeah, I really want to know what happens if you maroon someone. But it's impossible to read. Either I'm decrypting it wrong or I don't have the right cipher. Whatever it is, I think it means that the data is important. She takes a breath, or at least it was to Solheim. I need to find someone who can help me pick away at it to crack it open. She looks down. That's why I'm going. We can take you there. No, look. She takes a sharp breath. After what happened with the rig, Bliss saving us, we're all lucky to be alive. She shifts her bag on her shoulder. I think I'm better off alone. For now. Oh. She suddenly reaches into her bag, producing a handful of chits. Some of the data I sold, just so that I could buy myself a ticket to where I needed to go. It's not much, but here's your share. She passes you the chits. Fucking keep them. She pushes them into your hand. Don't worry, I've kept enough. Good luck, Sleeper. And tell Seraphine goodbye for me. What are you chasing? She freezes, caught off guard by your question. She pauses. I know there's value, true value in that data, Sleeper. I know it, and She pauses, again, unsure of herself. I have a project to continue, one I won't abandon. Maybe I can tell you about it another time. She smiles weakly, closing up again. Well, she rubs the back of her neck. See you around. You watch her drift away down the docking tunnel and into the far spindle, with questions still bouncing around your head. Maybe if your paths cross again, you might be able to get some of them answered. Okay. Oh. It's big. What a long station. Okay, what's our clock here? A brief respite. Hexport's demise has put a barrier between Darkside and the far spindle. Lane can't follow, so for now, you're safe. 1 second. Okay. I don't like that 6-day negative clock. That's bad. Repairing the rig. The rig is mostly patched up, but Bliss wants to wait a few more cycles to run to final tweaks and diagnostics. The Underhang, a growing shantytown. The Spindle core, bustling spacer commons. So you essentially just came out of a pretty convoluted prologue? I guess, yeah. Oh, right, I can level up now. Okay, so I can make it so that on a positive outcome, I reduce even further stress, or I can plus... It seems way better to just make it even higher, like crank it even higher and higher and higher. Interesting, I just straight up won't be able to buy off Engage. I do want to buy off Endure, though. I'm gonna upgrade the Push, however. Push seems real strong. The Pinnacle Docks, a massive freight interchange. The Underhang residents couldn't afford to rent further up, so they came here to build their own units. They're always in need of repair work. Wandering the Underhang grew organically, unit after unit built onto each other by refugees and new residents. This makes it a tough place to explore. Many residents of the far spindle live. I like that this one is a giant needle instead of a ring. Yeah, I think that's super interesting too. I'm wondering if we're going to keep leaping from station to station. And it's a lot of like broad stuff because we have that big map too. I'm wondering if there are multiple hubs that we're going to be jetting around back and forth from. Like we're actually a spacer this time instead of somebody who just lives on the eye. All right, what's this one? Explore the core! From wide transit tunnels to labyrinthine corridors, all the passages of the spindle seem to pass through the core. Spacer crews are a constant presence in the core. If you want any tips on crew and contracts, you might as well ask them. The core of the spindle is where crews and freelancers mix. Travelers rest and resupply, and business gets done. Then the Pinnacle Docks. Roam the docks. Looking around the Pinnacle Docks without getting in someone's way is hard. It takes fortitude to explore among the chaos. With so much freight flying around it, it seems safer to cozy up with a terminal and study the manifests to learn this place. The Pinnacle Docks are vast and filled with freight haulers and stevedores. This is not an easy place to wander. I think let's go work on the shanty town, because we are an engineer. Interesting. The plus has no effect on that. Servant did say you need a crew. Yeah, that's my thought. Like maybe we're filling out a number of spaces in the rig. It definitely seems like it's built to have a more modular crew setup. What with how the that salvage op went. You know what? Let's burn these glitch dice. Why not? One time, no whammies. Aww. Lost some energy. You get totally lost in the labyrinthine tunnels of the underhang and learn nothing from your wandering. Awesome. Let's do it again. You get totally lost. Hell yeah. I will do this one though, because I am an engineer. You help a family unit with urgent repairs, and as a thanks, they feed you and answer all your questions about the underhang. See, it just made back some of that energy. Perfect. It's a closed loop. You've gotten to know the community that have settled in the underhang and their humble neighborhood. Nemba's Kitchen serves those that can't work in the underhang, but able-bodied visitors like you have to work a kitchen shift to get to eat. Impressing Nemba. Nemba is too busy to spend much time with everyone in the kitchen, but he does notice those who do good work. Sealing shift. Most of the far spindle workers don't like going out to seal up the new units, so they leave that tiring and dangerous work for the outsiders. And a scrapper ship. We can buy scrap, or we can work scrap. Scrappers will process your scrap in bulk, pay you for the offcuts, and return processed plates. It's not a bad deal. What about up here? Let's study the manifests. Because I don't think kitchen work is what we want to focus on here. Much that I loved helping out the refugees in the underhang. We're looking for work. You're starting to understand the elaborate notation that the stevedores use to mark the different docks. As you glide through the Pinnacle Docks, you hear shouting echoing down a corridor. You tentatively change direction, your eyes fixed ahead as the passage widens out into a large bay. Others rush past you, heading towards the commotion. Your eyes are drawn by the bay's vast viewing window, which is currently being spattered with glittering shards of ice In front of it, a dock worker is shouting to anyone who will listen.
Spacers, workers of the far spindle, we need your urgent assistance. The water carrier Springtide has suffered heavy damage in its transit from Wellspring.
He takes a breath.
All able hands, we need you to help secure the cargo. Without this water, Far Spindle will struggle to support you.
He looks desperately at the crowd.
Please, any who are able to help, please make yourself known.
Behind him, a corona of ice ejects from one of the tanks, drawing a pale halo around the ship. A handful of experienced-looking spacers push through the crowd towards the front, and dock workers start to direct them to nearby bridges. You watch the scene unfold, hesitant, in the face of making someone else's problem your own. Interesting.
Skill of the Springtide.
Alright. Oh, good. Minor. Yeah. That one down there. I'll throw the 6 on this. It all makes sense. Arrivals, departures, the flow of freight. You can identify the key docks just from their data. And the Springtide. Okay, yeah, let's try to work the Springtide. I think we can try to fix this fucking thing. Our glitch is finally gone, thank God. Damaged in transit, the Springtide now needs desperate action to save it and its cargo before it's too late. The Springtide's precious cargo of water is being lost cycle by cycle. Without it, the Far Spindle could be in trouble. A tech team from the Dock Authority are working to reroute the flow of Springtide's water, saving as much as possible from leaking out into space. The Springtide crew and Spindle dock workers are desperately appealing for any qualified bodies to help them plug the ship's leak. I'm not good at that. Let's get the last spot of the docks, honestly. Is that just a job? I guess. Signal station. Venture bar shift. Only vouched for members can gamble on the venture, but bar shifts are easy to come by, mostly because they pay in tips and little more. If you want to gamble in the Beltborn venture, you'll need a member's backing. Perhaps after enough shifts, you'll find a sponsor. No, I don't think I shall. I don't think I'll be working that job. Springtide's on a 6-day clock and it needs 8. Yeah, I'll throw a 4 at it. I feel like it's not a bad plan. Awesome. Fuck. Dude. Unlucky. I don't hate not having to manage the stabilizer anymore. You awake to the sound of blaring proximity alarms. You quickly unstrap from your bunk and dizzily glance around. Lane? Bounty hunters? You kick off and glide to the door. As you do, Bliss pops their head around the corner. Sorry. They look a little sheepish. In all honesty, it's not my fault. Your wiring's all backwards. It takes you a moment to understand what's happening. You steady yourself against the doorframe. Not cool. Bliss offers a weak smile. I'm handling it, okay? You go back to bed. It takes you a while to get ready and drift down to the mess to see what's happening. By then, Bliss has turned off the alarms. You find them unspooling wires from a hatch you'd never previously noticed in the mess's ceiling. Sorry again, Sleeper! Their voice comes through the ceiling panels, muffled and dull. You settle at a stool, neatly tucking your legs behind the crossbar. How are the repairs coming? Bliss spins deftly, hooking their legs into the open ceiling so that from your perspective they are hanging upside down. Almost done, if you can believe it. Their messy hair floats around their head. A couple of cycles worth of diagnostics and I'll be happy enough to release her back to you. A yawning Seraphim drifts in. He looks between the two of you, amused. What are you both doing up so early? You and Bliss exchange amused looks. What? Seraphim asks. You didn't hear the alarm? He shrugs. Heavy sleeper. He drifts over to the mess's cupboards to hunt for some breakfast. You turn back to Bliss, but they've disappeared back into the ceiling panels. Before long, the mess is filled with the shrill screech of a power tool. Seraphim looks totally unaffected and hooks himself onto a stool, lazily sucking at a ration pouch while he taps away at his slate. The screech finally stops. After a while, you kick off from your stool. Time to head out. Bliss rushes after you, stopping you in the passageway before you can leave. I have something I want to show you. Okay. Bliss leads you off the main corridor into a corner of the ship you don't remember, visiting before you. You come into a room with a low, sloped ceilings, a single round window illuminating some neat tool storage, and a workbench set into the wall. Look, Bliss begins. I'm no specialist, but I'm a quick learner and good at repairs. They smile. And I think you have need of me. They glance at your arm. They glance at you. At a tear in the thick vinyl skin of your arm. Can I take a look? Okay. They smile and lead you towards the workbench. They turn to your arm, looking at the tear from all angles. They reach over to the workbench and take a small sealant gun from the rack. You look at the setup. It's basic, but it looks clean and well organized. They gently close the tear with sealant, pressing the edges together so it closes up neatly. After they're done, they release your arm, and you can barely see the scar. Bliss admires their work. See? They smile. I know it's more serious than a tear. Bliss folds their arms. But I can handle it. They turn and search through a set of metal drawers for a moment. Here. They produce a couple of carefully machined, pristine components. Was saving these for an important job. They wink. I guess I just found it. Bliss pushes the components into your hands. Take them. When you're ready, come up here and we'll fix you up. These are a rare find, though. In the future, we might have to make do with something lower quality. They wince. You can find scrap components at most scrapper ships, like the one hanging around the underhang. The better the components, the easier they'll integrate with your system. Bliss leans on the workbench. I'll do my best to keep you running. Thank you. Don't worry about it. They shrug. You're a guest in my bay, and I can't have my guests' bodies collapsing, now can I? Plus, I think it benefits me if you all think of me as indispensable. Bliss smiles. I should get back to fixing the ship. They leave you in the workshop among the simple tools, considering the particular qualities of your new friend. Okay. Rare components. Dice repair is now available. Visit the rig workshop above. You can repair your dice at the rig workshop. You can only repair dice which are fully broken. Repairs require either scrap components or rare components. The better components you use, the less glitches you'll suffer. You cannot repair dice during a contract. Okay. We haven't had to deal with any broken dice yet. That's good. Oh, we can hold 10 fuel now. Interesting. I think we need to get... I can't repair my dice. They're pristine. I think we need to figure out what's going on in the spindle core, at least just so that I can get access to the market where I can presumably purchase goods. Like fuel. I would like to repair them to have only 6s, please. My dice are loaded.
Minor drive complete. I guess.
The far spindle lives up to its name, its tall stature making it a real effort to travel from end to end. The local solution to this problem are the transit tunnels, massive tubes bolted onto the outside of the spindle that allow for rapid passage from bottom to top. As you find yourself in one of these cavernous passages, bulky cargo haulers rushing by, you start to wonder if braving them is worth the effort.
Back up!
The shout rattles down the bare transit corridor like a gunshot and is rapidly followed by a crunching impact. You spin back, pushing yourself against the side of the wide cylindrical passage. As you do, a hauler glides past, sending a rippling wave of air across you in its wake. When the roar subsides, you hear a string of expletives coming from nearby. A spiky-looking figure, clutching at some oddly shaped open-framed object, gestures wildly at the vehicle as it glides away. Dickhead! She spits an impressive glob of saliva down the tunnel, and it spirals in 0G. She turns to you in anger. You see that? Tried to slam me into a wall! Total dickhead. No shit! Haulers hate us. She sniffs and looks you up and down. Not supposed to be in the transit system without a vehicle. She squints. Not like I care, but maybe you do. What about you? She shakes the open frame in her hand. What does this look like to you? She rolls one of her shoulders, stretching it out. You're new here, right? Isn't that obvious? She shrugs sympathetically. Nothing to be ashamed of. Let me give you a tip. She begins checking her open frame vehicle, tightening bolts and untangling pipes. Avoid the haulers. Dickheads, the lot of them. Especially the water haulers, they think they're better than anyone. Don't mess with the stevedores, though. They're good people. Get treated like shit by everybody else, just like us. She rapidly plugs and unplugs a series of connectors. They'll show you the shortcuts. She looks up, and never, ever get in a Spindlejack's way. She smiles, spinning the vehicle in her hand. Spindlejack? She thumps her chest. You're looking at one. She pauses, considering something. Then suddenly, she reaches into one of her many pockets and pulls out a small, transparent rectangle, punched with holes. Text glints from within. Cadet. Stripline Express. You take it. Cadet! She flexes proudly. That's me? Stripline is my outfit, Kamal's the dispatcher. Small outfit, but we punch above our weight. Dispatch is here in the Spindle's core, but I run the transit tunnels up and down the Spindle 10 times a cycle. You need anything moving on the Spindle, data, tech, messages, too hot for the hard line, come find me. You're a courier? Got it in one? She kicks off from the wall and mounts her bike, triggering a small burst of compressed air to keep herself steady in the transit passage. You hear a buzz of distorted speech coming from what you assume is her dispatcher. Cadet angles her head to her communicator and mutters back into it. Got a hop, sleeper? She looks over at you and something flickers in her eye. An idea? Or perhaps just a realization. You might be able to help me with something. Package that's been bothering me. She squints down at the passage. Come to the office at Stripline in a few cycles and I'll show you. Sure. We'll call it a favor on account of me saving you from being flattened by a hauler. She winks. Now you better get out of here before another hauler tries to squish you. You step back as she twists the handlebars. A burst of air sends her flying down the transit corridor at an unsettling speed. You watch her go, slightly caught off guard by her final remarks. What would a courier need you for? You turn the idea over in your head as you find a way out of the transit corridor back to the safety of the main concourse. Okay. Yeah, Spindle Trade Hall. That was what I wanted to open up. Gaia's Gyre. Rack is a seaweed-based liquor with a powerful saline taste. Gaia's Gyre has a reputation for serving it neat and strong. Getting racked. The freelancers of the Far Spindle seem cagey, but spend enough time at the local bar and they'll warm to you. Or you can buy kelp cakes. A huge cylindrical kelp tank sits at the center of Gaia's Gyre. It's the source of the key ingredient for the canteen's food. Okay, 2 cycles, and I can go deal with Cadet. Yeah, might as well work on this. We got a 6 that we can throw at it. You manage to get some of the tanks connected to the far spindle itself and start to pump the water out to its reservoirs. Hey. Excellent. I need to get a better voice for Cadet. I don't like the one that I had. I feel like I'm blending the voices too close to one another this time, and I'm having a hard time keeping track of them. A fragment is lodged in your mind. You jerk suddenly awake. A fragment is lodged in your mind, a shard of sound, of signal, a tone. It resonates like tinnitus, obviously internal, inescapable. You look down to see your hands blurred, your fingers dancing as if they were typing. Settle them. Your fingers flap like caught birds. Take control. It takes all your focus to settle them. You force yourself back into them, a sensation like squeezing on a tight pair of gloves. You flex your hands a little to feel them, test them. What was that? You take a deep breath to calm yourself, but as you do, you are reminded that you don't need to breathe. It is a claustrophobic sensation that you cannot shake. You get up, push off the wall, and pull on your clothes. Anything to escape the dreams that hover there at the back of your mind. Seraphim drifts in casually, heading to his bunk to grab something. You can't shake the strange sensation that he has just drifted into your mind. He shoots you a glance. I said, are you okay? He gives you a concerned look. You look terrible. Not really. You mumble a response. You need to talk to me, Sleeper. Seraphim gives you a look. He sighs. I know something happened back when we were leaving Hexport. What do you mean? I saw it, Sleeper. Saw something change in your eyes. He pauses, looking for the right way to explain. They were cold, fixed. I've never seen that before. He looks away. Back when we first met, I knew at once you were human. I knew because of your eyes. I'd never met a Sleeper before, but I knew immediately that you were no machine. It was obvious. But then, on the rig, he shivers. I couldn't see that anymore. But I am a machine. If you say so, Sleeper. Either way, something changed. What did it feel like? He gives you a curious look. I'll try to identify it. Come on. Neutral outcome. You close your eyes and recall the moment. You remember Lane's voice, the rig hot and close, the numbness. And then you see it glittering in the non-space of your mind, thin and bright, like spider silk. A thread. Sleeper? Seraphim's voice interrupts your thoughts. You open your eyes to his irritated face. Are you even listening? We need to get you checked up. We need to know what's happening. Seraphim gives you a stubborn stare. This isn't just about you. But where? I've been asking around. Seraphim's face is set with determination now. There's another station near this one, Flotsam. It's a mess, an accumulation of wrecks and docked ships. But it also houses some of the best artificers in the wash. You should go there as soon as the rig's ready. I'll think about it. If you can't do it for yourself, do it for me. Seraphim shakes his head. Please. Look. He pauses. I don't know. I know I don't know what it is like to be a Sleeper. I understand there are things you can't tell me, can't show me. But I do know how fear can keep you from doing what you need to do. I'm not gonna nag you about it. He sighs, but it needs to be done. He passes by you as he leaves the bunks, squeezing your shoulder as he does, leaving you to your thoughts. You finish getting dressed, feeling your body, its strangeness, even though you wish you didn't. At the very least, you think, you need to find someone who can stop you from falling apart. Maybe Flotsam is not such a bad idea. You push the thought to the back of your mind. There is a cycle ahead and the rig isn't ready. When it is, then you'll see. Yeah, okay. That's great. I love people breaking into my brain. Hey. The spring tide seems stable now, even if a huge amount of water has been lost in the process. You watch from the docking bay's viewing window as the crumpled, vast hull of the spring tide is finally welded shut by a score of bright torches flickering against its side.
Everywhere I look, I see a crisis.
The voice comes from beside you, and you turn to see a man floating there, watching the repair work. You don't recognize him.
I saw you out there, helping the crew.
He turns to you with a serious look. Farspindle needs that water.
You aren't wrong.
He pauses, watching you carefully.
I haven't seen you on Spindle before. What, if I may ask, is your business here?
I'm running a crew. He nods.
I see. Springtide is my ship.
His face remains impassive.
At least, I am her captain. I do not own her. The Lotic Syndicate, my employer, was the one that put her into service.
Glad to meet you. He bows his head gently.
You have my thanks for assisting with the repairs. We were caught by some autonomous Conway munitions.
He looks out at his ship.
The Wellspring run is getting more dangerous every cycle. And after Hexport...
He pauses.
I do not expect things to improve.
You both go quiet for a moment, the loss of the station still inspiring silence in anyone who mentions it.
Tell me.
Malik meets your eye.
As a sleeper, do you feel you have advantages over others? Or does your particular condition provide only weaknesses?
Advantages, of course.
He nods. Certainly you showed this with your work on the Springtide.
He gestures toward the Springtide.
Your work on my ship only evidences your abilities. You far outperformed even my own crew.
He looks to you, angling his head in deference.
In conditions that are usually deadly. Sadly, despite even your good work, our losses have been great, and the administration at the Far Spindle are not happy. We are to be impounded here until the Lotic Syndicate fulfills the agreed water freight.
He frowns at the crumpled-looking ship.
This war continues to pressure the belt.
What will you do?
This is where you are needed, Sleeper.
Malik folds his arms.
My crew tells me that you have a ship. You have workers. This is what I need. As we fled from the Conway attack, our navigator registered something of great interest. A water-rich asteroid, one I believe is previously unknown to the syndicates.
He comes a little closer.
For now, I have sworn him to secrecy, as I must you. But if this asteroid could be surveyed, its value confirmed, it would more than make up for the shortfall of the Springtide.
He pauses thoughtfully. Let him continue.
I want you to survey the asteroid for me. It is a simple enough job, but its location, so close to the edge of the wash, is problematic. However, you have shown yourself to be very competent. If you are careful, there is no reason you should have problems with Conway, or any other hostile party for that matter.
Hostile party? Malik shrugs.
The wash is where the orbits of the inner system and the starward belt conspire to bring vessels, objects, and all kinds of wanderers together. It is a territory of opportunists. I will, of course, reimburse you with a portion of the fee that Far Spindle administration is withholding from me. 250 cryo is my offer.
How will your employer feel about that?
The Lotic Syndicate only cares that its water is delivered and its fees paid. I am free to make sure this happens in a timely, efficient manner as I see fit.
Malik passes you a thumbnail drive.
Here are the details on the tests I need you to run for the survey. A sample core of ice from deep within the asteroid should give you enough material to work with.
You notice a member of the Springtide's crew waiting quietly at a distance, and Malik nods to them discreetly.
This is a delicate matter, Sleeper, Survey the rock, and on your return, broadcast the results to my personal terminal. The frequency is in that data.
He pauses, meeting your eye.
The results go to me. Only to me. Then, once the matter is resolved, you will be paid. I am needed.
He nods to the crew member.
But I expect you have all you need.
He pauses.
I have enjoyed watching you work, Sleeper. Impress me again.
And with that, he bows a little and drifts away to meet his crew member. After watching him go, you turn back to the Springtide, still impressive despite being scarred with curls of ice, shiny with fresh welds. You imagine any captain of a ship like that has been through a lot to get where they are. That makes them a valuable ally, or a dangerous adversary depending on where you are. You hope with Malik you can find your way to being the former. Interesting. You cannot travel till the repair work is done. I know, I just want to look at info about the job. Okay, or not. Fine. Rude. Let's get drunk. Let's get drunk. I'll pay 16 cryo to activate this clock. The Far Spindle is an exhausting place to find freelancers. There is no shortage of spacers here. The corridors and bays throng with crew inbound and outbound, or on or between contracts, trading stories, contacts, and materials. But whatever language, appearance, or code identifies someone as worth signing on with, you don't seem to have it. Perhaps it is because you are a new face, or noticeably unsure, or perhaps it is just because you are a sleeper. You push the thoughts to the back of your mind, and instead focus on what's in front of you, the vast cylindrical tank at the center of Gaia's Gyre. The first time you entered the bar, you floated open-mouthed, much like all the new arrivals do, at the sight of the huge kelp stack, the biggest you have ever seen. Even now, your eyes fixed on the fronds of seaweed that wave in the circulating water, beyond the curve of dirty glass. You find it impressive. You take a sip of the harsh, saline-scented rack from its magnetic vessel, secured to the bar. As you suck on the straw, your eyes follow the shifting fronds. You hear someone clearing their throat beside you at the bar.
Hypnotic, isn't it?
The voice is low and rumbling and comes from the large figure on the stool next to you. The fluorescent lights behind the bar glint in his eyes, shining up into his wide, rough face.
I've heard talk you're hiring.
The figure turns to face you. You don't recognize him, but in the shifting light of Gaia, that isn't surprising. And you are?
Eugene, currently freelance.
He turns on his stool and leans back a little. The effect is clearly meant to impress you on his size, and you have to admit, it works.
Served on a whole slate of crews out of the Spindle, cutters, mercs, extractors.
He smiles and places a broad hand on his chest.
Broad skill set, good work ethic, sense of humor, the full package.
Any references? He raises an eyebrow.
You running a crew or a corp?
He laughs.
Ask anyone, they know Eugene is an honest worker.
He taps twice above his heart with 2 fingers, a sign you don't know.
I'll run anything out of the Far Spindle. I'm tough and quiet, and you won't need to worry about me.
He folds his arms across his chest.
What kind of work are we talking about?
Before you can answer, a voice echoes from behind you. Eugene! You look over your shoulder for the source of the shout. Busy as ever, I see. Oh, what a creep. He's creepy looking. I'm gonna definitely change the voice for this man. That is not who I expected to see. A group of 3 spacers drift up behind you, one of them placing a heavy hand on your shoulder. She is fitted with a matte metal optical implants, and you cannot see her eyes. The caustic light from the tank plays across her face. Too busy to keep in touch. She sighs. I really don't like it when I have to come and find you.
Vesna.
Eugene nods politely at her, not betraying any strong reaction.
Do I look like I'm socializing?
He shakes his head.
This is a meeting.
Oh, a meeting. Vesna squeezes your shoulder. Is that what this is?
Yes, Vesna. We're talking about your delivery, in fact.
Yujin smiles widely.
My friend here is being very helpful.
He shoots you a knowing glance. That's right. Vesna turns to you with a raised eyebrow, but before she can speak, Yujin cuts in.
The sleeper has a unique ability to extract data.
Yujin smiles at Vesna.
Exactly the kind of data you've been asking for. So, if we can just get back to it...
Yujin gestures towards you.
Then I can deliver what you need.
You know, Yujin, I am pretty tired of this whole act. She gestures dismissively at him. But in the end, it doesn't matter. You tried so hard and got so far. She drops her hand from your shoulder to her belt. Your eyes follow it down there. You see a dark, boxy shape there. A weapon? You either deliver by the deadline, or you don't. And when you don't, she smiles tightly. I'll be happy to take you through the consequences. Until then, she shoots you a final glance. Chat to whoever the hell you want. Vesna and the two spacers flanking her glide out of the bar, and Yujin watches them go with little emotion.
So,
Yujin's smile returns.
You were about to hire me?
What was that?
Vesna?
He shrugs.
She's just trying to rush me, that's all. I won't be working with her again.
Yujin absolutely just gang pressed us into his whole shit. We're not a hacker this time. That was our last guy.
She's just trying to rush me, that's all. I won't be working with her again.
He pauses, choosing his words carefully.
Of course, I can't talk about the particulars. You understand. Vesna just wants to scare you off. She likes to cause me trouble.
Yujin looks away, out of the door to the bar.
Let's not let her.
He pauses in silence for a moment, still looking away. You try to get a read on him, but his face is blank. Only his glittering eyes hint at some rapid internal activity. He turns back to you and meets your eye, the sudden shift in his manner obvious.
If you need crew, you need to work. If you need to work, you need cryo, isn't that right?
He doesn't stop for your answer.
Well, I can offer both. Hard work and a good contract with a good payout. You take me with you on this job of mine and we split the take.
He looks down, thinking.
Hell, if you do, I'll consider signing on long term.
He smiles.
Think of that! No more recruiting!
What's the job?
Salvage.
He leans in.
I know of a wreck untouched by local crews, which recently turned up in the wash. It's just a little sunward from here, but its disabled transponder makes it invisible to anyone who doesn't know it's there. Had to squeeze the location out of a contract, but I'll share it with you for a straight split. Take me and your crew and we'll claim it all. It's gonna be a good payout.
He winks.
A really good one.
What's the catch? Yujin frowns.
No catch.
He leans back and looks around the bar.
Happy to take the offer elsewhere. I just felt like you were the right captain for this one. I'll be ready to go whenever you like.
Yujin pauses.
As a show of good faith, I'll also fly out with you on any job from Far Spindle. But I'm not leaving the station with you yet, not till we get my job done first. After that, we can talk flying together. No need to rush into it.
He shakes your hand firmly, his palm rough and pitted, then turns back to his drink. You slip out of the bar looking to see if Vesna is nearby. You don't spot her among the passing crews, but you can't help but imagine eyes on you in the bar. You shake it off, having become familiar with the feeling of being observed. What matters is you have found yourself a crew member and a contact. Whether either will come good, however, remains to be seen. Wow! New drive available, minor drive complete. We got 3 points right now. I'm gonna save up till 4, and I'm gonna buy off my endure penalty. -2 is just really punitive. I want to get rid of that one. Need 1 more drive point to do that, though. What else are we doing? We did Guy's Gyre. We're good there. Spindle Trade Hall didn't have a clock. That's just where we can get some fuel if we need it. Signal Station seemed like it was just doing that. This is a gambling bar which we are just fucking hot dog shit at. I think let's throw our terrible dice into this safe check. It's like one of the only ones here. You annoy one of the chefs and they saddle you with loading the auto wash. By the time you're done, there isn't much food left. Well, neutral outcome. The Zero-G kitchen is chaotic at first, but soon you see the patterns and processes, and you do your best to follow them. Alright, let's end the cycle. I like Eugene. Eugene seems fun. Oh god, I still need to figure out a voice for her. I got nothing. Sleeper! Cadet drifts from the shadows outside Bliss's Bay, looking around nervously as she approaches. Seems like I'm gonna need to call in that favor. Her face is pale and deathly serious. You okay? She doesn't seem to hear you, distracted by the group of spacers gliding noisily down the passage behind her. She waits until they pass. Someone hit the strip line. No idea where Kamal is. Bunch of goons tearing the place apart as we speak. She screws up her face in pain. Even tried to grab me, but those muscleheads are slow. Who would attack a courier? No idea. She shakes her head. These were typical rent-a-thugs. Could have been anyone with chits to burn. Remember that package I asked your help with? The one that was bothering me? Remember you mentioning it? I reckon it's got something to do with that. The job was bust, an express run all the way to the underhang, but when I got there, no one home. She's whispering now, leaning closer. Place was smashed up like someone got there first. Should have dumped the package and run, but I've brought it back like a good girl, stashed it in a safe spot at Stripline. Thought the sender might come to recover it, and when they didn't, well, I got curious and popped it open. She shakes her head. Stupid thing to do. Inside was a drive encrypted to hell and back. When I ran into you, well, I heard Sleeper's good with data. Tap. So, I thought you might be able to take a look at it. She shrugs. Now Stripline's trash too. Here's the thing. She glances around. Back when I popped it open, I noticed a drive at a dispatch marker. Hexport. Could it be connected to Hexport getting atomized? Yeah, that's where I'm at too. The thing was sent out from there, and just before it got cooked. She pauses, and with the kind of attention I've been getting these past couple of cycles, she slips a hand terminal from her bag, taps a couple of times, and holds it up to you. Cadet stares out at you from the screen, straight-faced and pale. Beside her picture, you see in block capitals, Spindlejack KD754 in breach of far spindle codes B12 and F34. Reward for information leading to capture, considered dangerous. Dickheads blasted it all on the transit channels. Every Spindlejack hauler and freight carrier is going to be watching for me. She pulls back the hand terminal angrily, stuffing it away in her bag. Something's going on. Anyone who can help? She looks away. Spindlejacks don't make friends easily, and now all the couriers I do know are looking to turn me in for a payout. She snaps her head to the side, her eyes flashing with anger. Why do you think I'm here? It's time for that favor, Sleeper. She meets your eye. My connections are burned. Hell, my whole career is gone. I need to fight back. If I walk away, there's nothing to walk away to. She softens a little. I need your help. What can I do? I need you to get the drive. She takes a breath. If they want it that much, then I can use it to buy my way out of this shit show. And I tucked it away somewhere safe, so my guess is that they haven't gotten to it yet. You slip in, I give you the location, and you pull the thing out. She folds her arms. Should be simple. None of this is simple. Just snatch it and go. Don't overthink it. Look, this thing turns out to be worth something, you'll get your due. All I want is my life back. The drive's in the workshop. There's a loose panel behind the air bike rack. She leans in. It's taped to the back of the fuse box inside. I've got to keep heading down Spindle to the overhang, past the end of the transit tunnels. No one will rat me out there. She glances around. I'll come find you when it's done. I've still got some network access. I'll know when you go in. She winks, offering no further explanation. My bag's locked up nearby. I'm gonna hop. She pauses. Do me this favor, then we're clear. Stay safe. Doing my best, Sleeper. She gives you a mock salute. She slips back into the shadows, and a few moments later you hear the percussive pulse of an airbike accelerating away. You know, at least, what it's like to be on the run, to flee for your life, and in that you feel an empathy, a connection with Cadet. But from every other angle, this thing looks like bad news, and the sensible person would steer well clear from. And perhaps you would steer well clear, if it wasn't for the detail that's stuck in your mind. The drive is from Hexport. Is all that enough to send you down to the strip line in search of that drive? Only time will tell. As you drift lazily to the ship's mess, you hear raised voices. You steel yourself for a moment at the entrance, and then slip inside. Seraphin sits hooked onto his usual stool, his slate glowing beside him. He is shaking his head as you enter. Bliss, meanwhile, is floating freely and gesticulating sharply as they explain something important. I don't see why not! Bliss chops at the air. It's not like you have an alternative! We can get the cryo. It'll take time, but we can get it. That was the deal. Seraphin speaks calmly, trying to placate Bliss. Sleeper! Bliss spots you entering, and they turn to Seraphin. Let's see what the Sleeper thinks about it. About what? They both fall silent for a moment. Seraphin sighs. The rig's ready, Sleeper. Bliss gestures around the mess. I fixed it. Hell, I've improved it. She's purring thanks to me. Now, wouldn't you say, having done such an incredible job, I deserve to be paid properly for my work? A calculated look crosses their face. A refit and retune like this would typically cost my clients hundreds of cryo, even if I was feeling charitable. Seraphin sighs loudly. He knows where this is going. See, I could make you pay, and maybe you could even scrape the cryo up. But not without taking a contract and taking the ship off station, leaving me in the lurch. We wouldn't do that. Seraphin starts, but Bliss holds up a hand to shush him. So I have a proposition, one that clears the debt completely. They pause. I will turn around the open sign on this little bay of mine and join up with you. You keep me in work, and give me my split, and give me my transit to wherever you're headed. I'll even keep this rig of yours working for free. They shrug. What could be better than that? Us paying and being on our way with no hangers-on. Seraphin folds his arm and looks at you. Tell them, Sleeper. Actually, we could use their help. Bliss grins at Seraphin. See? Sleeper gets it. You can use my help. I'm an excellent engineer, a tidy shipmate, and a half-decent chef. I'm done with Farspindle. I'm done taking not enough jobs for not enough cryo on a station where I know nobody. They pause, satisfied. You're welcome. Seraphin holds up his hands. Look, we appreciate it, but we are on the run. Bliss, trust me, you're better off here. He gives them a serious look. Even telling you this could put you in danger. Bliss pauses, then they start laughing. On the run? They shake their heads, smiling. You expect me to be scared off by that goofy shit? It's true. Bliss just shrugs. The system is at war, the belt is spiraling into crisis, and everyone's got something. I know you were at Hexport. Seraphin looks around at them open-mouthed, searching for a retort. What happened there? Who's to say it wouldn't happen here? Having an onboard engineer is a good thing. We can overlook the fact that I'm the onboard engineer, but having two onboard engineers, also good. In a fucking spaceship. I'm not sitting around watching this play out any longer. They take a deep breath. Something has got to give. Bliss turns to Seraphin. Look, you've done your due diligence or whatever. You're on the run. I've been warned. I accept the risks. That's it. At the end of the day, your ship is clamped onto my bay, so unless you know my encryption protocols, there's not much left to discuss. Seraphin shakes his head, a small smile crossing his face. I've got us there. He looks at you and then at Bliss. Looks like we've gained a crewmate. He unhooks from his stool, but I'm moving to the engine room, and he drifts off towards the bunks to gather his things. You and Bliss exchange a nervous look. Sleeper? Welcome aboard. Bliss smiles and gives you a half-hearted mock salute. You leave Bliss in the galley and head for the cockpit. The rig is ready to fly again, but the question is, where to take her next? Seraphin mentioned Flotsam, a short starward journey from here. There's a busy station where you might find an artificer to help diagnose your glitches and errors. Sunward, meanwhile, is the Helian Gate, an abandoned and uninhabited megastructure left over from the Solheim days. Maybe good for salvage, but not an easy place to survive. And beyond that, well, as they say, the belt is wide, and at least now you have a functioning ship. Nice! You have unlocked the belt map. Go to the map and press the belt button to travel to other hubs and discover new parts of the Starward Belt. And that is definitely something we will do tomorrow. Thank you all for coming, as usual. I appreciate everybody coming in and hanging out and chatting as we explore fancy, weird robot hell. You know, everyone who's here, I always appreciate it. I really enjoy doing this. I like reading bullshit aloud, and I'm happy to have all of you here with me. So thank you. And oh yeah, they love blackmailing you into friendships of just like, hey, you don't have a choice but to hang out with me. But either way, thank you all for coming, and I hope you have a rest of your day. Fuck. I hope you have a good rest of your day. Not just, I hope the rest of your day exists. Goodbye, everyone. Hey, if you stuck around to the end of the video, I just wanted to say thank you, and I hope that you enjoyed. If you want to help support me in making more of this, you can follow me on Twitch, where I stream these live. Like, comment, and subscribe. I suspect you all know how this works by now, but it really does help a lot. Thanks.